All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakak double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elected nation of Israel. This is going to be a lesson. It's going to be a lesson on how the falling down of one kingdom is not a sad thing to the people that are the next to rule, man. Right? Because you've got a lot of the people that are of the Israelites that don't want to accept that they're Israelites, that they are crying and complaining, or they say us or we, when it comes to terms of talking about how this kingdom is going to fall. And what they don't understand is that this kingdom was never our kingdom anyway, right? But the falling down of this place is not going to be anything to cry about for the people that are going to be the next to rule. And let me get this scripture. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So Esau was going to be ruling at the end of the world. And he was also going to be the person that was going to be taken down at the end of the world, right? But his falling down was going to give way to the beginning of the next world, which the beginning of the next world is going to be ran by the Israelites. And that's what a lot of these Israelites don't understand, man. They think that this place was their kingdom, but it's not though, right? The kingdom after this one is our kingdom. So as this place falls and crumbles, that just means that it's closer to us getting our kingdom. So it's a good thing to hear about these places falling down. It's a good thing to hear about an SVB bank collapsing. It's a good thing to see that. It's a good thing to see people's pride that they thought they had in their wealth, where they was telling you, you need to fix up and step your game up and get this job and get that job. You need to get yourself a better career and all of that. It's a good thing when these same people that are proud as hell from the middle class that thought that they was part of the 1% realize now actually you ain't part of the club. That is about the wealth. You ain't part of that club, man, and you can't even take out that money from your bank account that you was trusting in so much, man. This is Sirach chapter 10 and verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. So the falling of a kingdom because of unrighteous dealings, riches, and injuries got by deceit, that's a problem to the people that's kingdom it was currently. But that's music to the ears of the people that are going to be the next people to rule. The people that are next up to rule, that they should be happy when they hear the fall of the current kingdom, because with while that kingdom standing, their kingdom cannot be here. A few examples, man, that we can use from the scriptures. When the Israelites wanted to get into the land of Canaan, right? They had to take down the Canaanites that was in that land in order to get their kingdom. But before that, the Israelites had to make the kingdom of the Egyptians that they had the Israelites in slavery. Their kingdom had to form, man, in order for us to get out of that captivity and be able to get into the land that we was prophesied from the times of our father Abraham. That had to happen. And then if you jump a bit further in the future from that point, right, the Persian Empire, the Babylonian Empire had to fall to make way for the Persian Empire. And the Persian Empire fell to give way to the Greek Empire, right? And when the Greeks tried to fight against the Israelites at points in time, we had to fight against them and hope that they fall. But at that point in time, it wasn't that time, and then the kingdom got passed on to the Romans, man. But now, as it stands right now, this kingdom has to fall to make way for our kingdom, man. Otherwise, we're not going to get our kingdom. This is Daniel chapter 2 and verse 44. And in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed and shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. So the people whose kingdom is going to be the everlasting kingdom that's not going to be destroyed, they need for this current kingdom to fall. So this kingdom falling isn't a problem for us, right? Because we understand that this kingdom isn't really ours anyway. You can have a job in it. You can become a millionaire in this kingdom, but you can't ever get into a position, no matter how much wealth you get as an Israelite, you can never get into a position where you are making rules on a global scale in this world, man. You can't. And any rule that you might be able to, anything that even seems close to that kind of rule will just be something that's allowed, so that because they know that it destroys your people. That's the only way that they would even think about making any kind of law. And because women desire power more than anything, man, they're the main ones that are prepared to go climb up this ladder in order to be wicked, man, and to have power at being wicked. This is Daniel chapter 7 and verse 27. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High. And who are those? Who are the saints according to the scriptures? The Israelites, man, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominion shall serve and obey him. So we ain't gonna complain or cry when this kingdom falls. When we hear about SVB Bank collapsing, when we hear about bail-ins, when we start finding out about all these new terms that prove that this society is corrupt, bail-ins, bailouts, and all this, right? Inflation, when we start hearing about all these things that's making people's lives that trust in this kingdom miserable, we're happy. That's good news for us, man. Because this place is stopping us from getting our kingdom. The longer this kingdom's going, the further we are from getting our kingdom. So it's a good news to us when this place catches hell. And one place that in particular, that is the ultimate epitome and the ultimate symbol of this place, his captivity on us, is that the place called America, man. And let me prove that with some scriptures. In fact, there's a place in this world that's spiritually called Sodom, right, and Egypt. Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8. And the dead body shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. So Yahweh Shai was crucified in a place that's got the same kind of spirit as America. And why is America that place that's spiritually called Egypt? Well, we know this because there was a place that in the scriptures, Deuteronomy 28:68, where it says that the Israelites was going to go into a slavery again in ships. And the only place that the Israelites have went in slavery in ships as a whole nation, where every single tribe can be found, is that land of America, man. And why is America spiritually Sodom? Well, if you look at the way how they live, everything's perverse over there, right? And why is America spiritually Egypt? Because that is the place in the world that's had all the Israelites in captivity, man. So it embodies those two aspects that Yahweh hates, man. A place that's putting his nation in captivity, hardcore slavery, and a place that is morally corrupt in every single way according to the scriptures that Yahweh has gave us, man. Which is the similar things to what the Canaanites was doing when you read about them in the scriptures, Wisdom of Solomon, the 12th chapter, right? Now, let me get this, because the day is going to come, man, where America gets completely destroyed off the earth, man. And are we going to be crying about that? No, we're not. This is Revelation chapter 18. Revelation chapter 18. I'll jump to verse 17. In fact, jump verse 15. Revelation chapter 18 and verse 15. You know what? I'll jump around a bit in this, in fact. Revelation chapter 18 and verse 1. And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul creature, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Now that doesn't mean that, oh, the people are like wild animals. That scripture don't mean that. It means literally that the day is going to come where Babylon the great, America, gets completely destroyed off the face of the earth, and is only going to be able to be inhabited. The land mass is only going to be able to be a habitation to animals that are like wild animals that can only live in certain environments, man. And you can prove this and you can read about this more in the book of Isaiah. Let me just check. I'm not going to read it, but I'm just going to check to make sure that it is the chapter that I'm talking about. Yeah, you can read about it in the book of Isaiah, man. Right? And let me get one scripture from the book of Isaiah, in fact. This is Isaiah chapter 34 and verse 11. But the cormorant and bittern shall possess it, the owl also, and the raven shall dwell in it, and he shall stretch out upon it in the line of confusion and the stones of emptiness. They shall call the nobles thereof to the kingdom, but none shall be there, and all their princes shall be nothing, and thorns shall come up in her palaces, nettles and brambles in the fortresses thereof, and it shall be an habitation of dragons and a court for owls. So that landmass is going to be like the land is going to claim back all the buildings, man. The buildings are going to grow with vines, right? Humans ain't going to be living in there anymore, man. Humans ain't going to be living in the land of America anymore. It's going to be wild animals, man. Verse 14, and thorns shall come up in her palaces, nettles and brambles in the fortresses thereof, and it shall be a habitation of dragons and a court for owls. The wild beasts of the desert shall also meet with the wild beasts of the island, and the satyr shall cry to his fellow. The screech owl also shall rest there and find for herself a place of rest. That's the point. It's going to be a place that's not going to be habited by humans no more, man. It's going to become an animal's house, wild animals house, man. Right? Back to this. Revelation chapter 18 and verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed fit through the abundance of her delicacy. So that's a few things that it mentions there. All nations being drunk with the wine of the wrath of her fornication, right? That's talking about how America's got the power to make all these other nations do what it says, man. And one of the reasons why it was able to do this is because of the sword, right? Was because of the dollar being the world reserve currency. But that always came back through the sword, man. Because America's got a high level military. Then it goes on to say, and all the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, because they was all confederate with America, with a lying about who the Israelites are, man. They was all down with it, with faking about who the Israelites really are. They was all in on it, man. At the elite level of every single nation, they all knew that we was the Israelites, but they didn't care, man. They said, forget it, put them in slavery, said they can never escape. That's what their goal was. And it goes on to say, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of their delicacies. Now, America is one of the biggest countries in the world, if I'm not mistaken, the biggest country in the world when it comes to imports, man. They're the biggest country, even bigger than China, that's got almost 4 times the population size. If not, I think they have got more than almost 5 times the population size. In fact, I think China's got 1.4 billion and America sits at around 340 million, excuse me. Verse 5, for her sins have reached unto heaven. Revelation 18 and 5. In fact, Revelation 18 and verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come up out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. Now that's talking about spiritually coming out of that place. We have to spiritually come out of that place, because this plague is going to happen, man. The day is going to come where this plague is going to happen, and if we don't remove our mind spiritually from this place, then we're going to be burnt up, man. If we live in that landmass. But even if we don't live there, there's other places in the world that are also going to get a taste of the nuclear fire too. So don't think that you're free from receiving any kind of judgment from nuclear missile just because you don't live in America, man. That's not an exclusive threat to the Israelites that live in Babylon the Great. Verse 5, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh have remembered her iniquities. So Yahweh ain't forgot all the things that this landmass did to us, man. This country and the people that was in it, that they did to us, man. They haven't forgot that the worst place on earth for a person that's an Israelite to live is America. So all the Israelites that are of the elect, just by the simple fact of that, have got some of the heaviest spirits, and some of the prophets that are written of in the scriptures have been reincarnated to live in that land, man. It's clear. Some of the prophets that we read about in the scriptures, some of their spirits came back in that land, man. Some of the apostles that we read about, some of them are the people that we call apostles right now. That's just the way it would be. Now, if you want to try and ask me or ask any other Israelite, well, who's this and who's that? How? Well, of course I don't know. They don't even know who they were in the past life, so how would I know? Verse 6, Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. In the cup which she have filled, in the cup which she have filled, fill to her double. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. And that's what every single kingdom always thought, man. There's never been a kingdom that just assumed that they was gonna fall, because they always tried to put things in place to where they wasn't gonna fall. So if they found that thought that they was weak in the military, well, they say, you know what, we're gonna build up our military more, if because they got the power to do it at the time. If they saw that the currency was if they saw that they was running out of funds, okay, we're gonna dilute the money down then. So in the ancient world, we're gonna mix the silver coins with lesser metals. In right now, we're gonna just make the value of the value. We're gonna make inflation, so the value of the money is actually less. So now you need more of these notes with a person's face on there, right? In order to buy the same items that you used to buy. But yet people still trust in these notes, man. When look at what happened in that SVB bank, man. Is it Silicon Valley Bank? I believe that's what the abbreviation stands for. Verse 8, Revelation 18 and verse 8. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly destroyed, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is Yahweh, for strong is the Lord Yahweh, who judgeth her, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. Now, that's the people that was making money with her, right? And they live deliciously with her. Now, that ain't us. We clearly are not the people that have been living deliciously. We've been catching hell. We've been having our women, right, knowing that we're in captivity, and that's the reason why they don't respect us. But then at the same time, they're trying to keep this society going. They ain't said, you know what, let's try and help the men of our nation bring this kingdom down. They've said, well, since you're not the person ruling, forget you, then you're insignificant. So we're gonna go with whoever's the rulers. And there's some Israelite women that pretend like this isn't the case, but there's some Israelite women that say straight up, and they put themselves on camera to confirm that what we think is what they're doing is exactly what they are doing, man. And they say that on camera straight up. They say, how am I going to be submitting to the person that's a slave just like me? Obviously, I'm going to submit to the person that's the slave master. They've said it on camera, man. They've said it. So obviously, we ain't the people that are living deliciously, or that live deliciously with Babylon the Great. We ain't those people that are living deliciously, man. So when this place falls down, we ain't going to be crying and lamenting for not having wealth and for the loss of wealth in this society. There might be a few lost Israelites that have been blinded that are going to complain about that. But in mass, every single Israelite of the elect ain't going to be doing that. And let me prove it. Revelation chapter 18 and verse 20. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets. Right? Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for Yahweh have avenged you on her. So we ain't going to be complaining and crying if we're those people, man. And whoever those people are of the elect that are going to fulfill the scripture, they ain't going to be complaining and crying. They're going to be laughing. They ain't going to be like the people in Revelation 18 and verse 9, where it says, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they see the smoke of her burning, right? Standing afar off for fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment coming. The real reason why these people are going to be complaining is because they're going to lose their money, man. Now, other people of Esau, they might complain and might start getting real sad, because that place has been the embodiment of their pride, and has been the image, right? Has been the world in their image, pretty much, man. How America is as a whole, as a country, is how an Edomite mind thinks, man. The way how that country runs and everything about it is how an Edomite's mind naturally is. The way how they are naturally is to just be evil, man, and to just be in excess and to be a hypocrite. But that place is going to fall, and that place falling is not a problem to the people that are next to rule, man, which is the Israelites. There shouldn't be no Israelite of the well, there won't be no Israelite of the elect that is going to complain about that place falling down. They're not going to be saying, "Oh man, I miss my job." No, they're going to be saying, "Kal hala Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai." They're going to be praying, man, praising that day forever, for all generations, man. Let me prove that. The Israelites are going to be praising that day that this place falls and that our salvation comes. Jeremiah chapter 23 and verse 7. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that they shall no more say, Yahweh liveth, which led the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. That's talking about the Passover. Verse 8. But Yahweh liveth, which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the land of the north, and from all countries whither I had driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land. So there's going to become a new, I don't want to call it a new Passover, but it's going to be an additional annual celebration, right? It's going to be like a new Exodus. It's going to be an additional celebration that the Israelites are going to keep from year to year, by where we got saved out of the oppression of the Edomites, man, and from Babylon the Great, but from every single other place that the Israelites were scattered as a result of the curses that they faced for disobedience to the Lord Yahweh, to the Heavenly Father Yahweh, right? And yeah, man, I think I made the point, man. This kingdom falling down is not a sorrowful thing to hear for the people that are the next people to rule, man. And on that, all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of great millstone, and shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel. Shalom.